Welcome to the show, everyone. This week, I am just answering a couple of questions that I thought would be good for other people to hear, not just the person that wrote them. So, Paul Larkin, this is your second question. And that question was good. So, backstory, he's asking about land and sort of how to go about the process. But he's going about it the right way, which is he's trying to go like, how do we make it work? Because I will be the first to admit, we have a lot of inquiries that come in because of the nature of just kind of, the animal that I've created with the 1911 Syndicate. We have a lot of inquiries come in regarding, hey, I want to move to a different state. I want to buy land. I want to shoot on it. I want to build a property on it. And it's just like, cool. Like, that's awesome in like Peter Pan world, but I live in reality. And so we got to talk about how to actually make this happen, right? So Paul's question was this. If someone's looking to purchase land, how can they get it to be worth our time? And that is a very good way to look at it, because there are often times that I'm just like, I can't help you. Like, it's simply not worth it. And as sort of discussed in a video maybe 2 weeks ago from the time that you're watching this, I basically kind of broke it down to like, look, here's your big three problems. There's not very much money in it for us. The proximity is far. Typically, it's far drives to go look at this stuff. And three, it's very complex, right? So we have these big three hurdles that we are running into. And so Paul's question is, well, how do we get it to be worth our time? And then the sort of secondary thing was, should a buyer look through FSBOs? So FSBOs are FSBO, for sale by owner. Okay, it's just kind of an industry term. Good job on you, Paul. I don't know why you know the term FSBOs, but you do. So should the buyer look through FSBOs, for sale by owner listings, to find property and offer to pay the realtor 6% to represent them in the deal? Interesting strategy, because essentially, for those of you that don't know, there's no hard and fast rule in this, but the overwhelming majority, like the lion's share of the time, sellers are the ones that pay real estate commissions, both to the seller's agent and to the buyer's agent. Okay, so 6% would be a number that you would commonly see. That 6% split evenly, typically, between the listing or seller's agent and the buyer's agent. So Paul's basically suggesting, well, what if I, as the buyer, offered to pay you, my buyer's agent, 6% of the total purchase price of the deal in order to represent me? Which is intriguing. I looked at it like this, okay? Most for sale by owners do not even want to deal with agents, is the truth. They, it's a weird crowd. For sale by owner people are usually difficult. They just are, okay? They're difficult humans for the most part, because they have well, this service isn't valuable and I can do it on my own, and it's part of the just as good crowd, right? And they're very cheap. If you want to know the bottom line of why people try to sell their home on their own, is they're very cheap. So most of them, yes, if you said, hey, look, for sale by owner, I've got an agent that's going to represent me. I'm going to pay their commission, so you don't have to pay them anything. You good with that? Some of them are going to say, sure, because my biggest hurdle was I didn't want to have to pay the agent's commissions. Some of them are going to say, I don't want to have to deal with agents, because they think we're all a bunch of scumbags, and there is a degree to which that's right, but it's not a universal truth. I criticize real estate agents all the time because it's a pretty just screwed up industry, but there's plenty of good ones out there. Good ones, and they're honest people, and they're good. They're cool people, right? But you have to sift through some bad ones to get to those ones. So it's going to depend on the FSBO. Do they want to deal with an agent or do they not? I would suggest, instead of paying the agent 6%, I would pay them a flat rate. I'd try to look at, okay, now that's a gamble on our part if we accept that, because you're like, okay, whatever, they're going to pay us $3,000, and you're like, okay, $3,000 is not very much, especially once I split my broker fee and all that, take out taxes, yada yada yada. But you're just like, man, it's an estimate of how much work do I think this is going to be. So 6% might be good. The only problem is, like, 6% of what? Like 6% of what? A $50,000 piece of land? What is that? I think that is $3,000. Yeah, I think it's $3,000. So it's like, maybe that might entice some agents to be more interested in it. I'll hit you with another possibility. So this is what I did. He was a buddy. He was actually my first client. Marine Corps vet, and he wanted to help him buy his house, and he wanted to buy some land. And basically what we did was the land was like, was it 60,000? Yeah, 60,000 is what he got it for, right? So this is a great case in point, and this is probably what I would recommend. $60,000 piece of land, and it was about an hour and a half from where I live. So I just told him this, look, it is not, it's simply not worth, like, I will lose money on this if I really help you pursue this and dig into this with you, and we're driving 3 hours total, you know, to go look at all this kind of stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set you up on a land search, right? You're going to get listings for land that becomes available. And because it's land, well, it's not like you need keys to it. You just go show up. You just go look at the land, right? And you can go walk around and see what you think. So what you're going to do, you're going to take it on yourself I will set up the search criteria for you. You're going to get the land listings. You're going to go look at them. And when you find one you want, you're going to call me and I'm going to help you work up all the contracts, and essentially at that point I kind of take over, right? I'll help you to negotiate it, do the contracts, help you with any due diligence, financing, stuff like that that needs to be done. That is the best solution that I've found, because I think it was 3% on that $60,000 piece of land. So, you know, what is that? 1,700 bucks, something like that, before I pay any, like, whatever, you know, for a client gift or brokerage fees or whatever it is like that. So I think I walked with like $1,000 bucks. The reality was I went to the land once. So once we got it under contract, I went out there to look at it with them and just kind of give my 2 cents, make sure it seemed sound. Beyond that, that was it. So it's basically 1 day of like effort to go there, combined with back end paperwork and communicating with agents and stuff like that. You go, okay, I can get on board with that. Still not very much in it for me. Like, it's still a pretty low yield on the profit there, but I can get on board with that. So Paul, my answer to you, yeah, you could do the 6% thing, but I would recommend have an agent set you up on searches. The burden is on you to go look at the ones that you're interested in, and then you call up John, the agent, and you're like, hey, I want to make an offer on this one, and let him take it from there. That's what I would do. That's what I have done, and it was a good system. For anyone else watching this, I'll be the first to admit, I haven't cracked into any of these whiskeys that I just got over here. If we're just going in the middle here, many of you will recognize this bottle. Blanton's is the Rolex of whiskeys. That's how I think of it. It's the one that everyone knows, even people that don't know whiskey, like to tout about, oh, I love Blanton's. It's like, yeah, like people that aren't into watches just really love Rolexes. Yeah, because motherfucker, it's the only one that you know. It's the only nice watch that you know. Okay, Blanton's is kind of like that. If you're like, okay, what high-end bourbons you like? And someone's like, Blanton's, you're like, you might really like bourbon, but chances are you're probably just a nut rider that doesn't know anything about bourbon. So anyway, positive spin to the end of this video. Paul, I'm sorry, my Q&A session with you took a turn here at the end. For anyone that needs real estate help, let us know. Happy to help. Link is down below. I feel like I'm supposed to do this down in the video description. Beyond that, hope you guys are doing well. Have a great rest of the week.